Hello, how are you doing? I am feeling quite down and dejected after that. A big thank you to anyone who joined me on the live match watch along, and a credit to all Watford fans who made the journey north to Ewood Park today. And a big shout out to all the Blackburn supporters who were involved in the boycott against their ownership too. I hope that was successful for you and moves you in the right direction. Watford, though, certainly are not moving in the right direction at the moment. It feels like since New Year's Day, we've had a real loss of momentum under Javi Gracia. And actually, I think a lot of it is his own doing. I've seen a lot of people this afternoon and this evening on social media saying they are Javi Gracia out and they want to see another change. And whilst I appreciate everyone is entitled to their own opinions, I'm not quite at that stage yet. I think Javi has a lot more credit in the bank with me before I reach that point. And I don't think Gino Pozzo right now is willing to make a change. Sure, if this form continued for another month or so and we get to late Feb and are still seeing the same issues and same results, then absolutely I think a change could happen, knowing the history of our owner and how he operates. But for now, I think everyone should get behind the group, get behind Javi, and hope we can turn this around. We've seen that the team is capable of performing consistently. We saw that over the festive period. And what has caused this loss of momentum? I think there's a number of things we could point to. Of course, we had the Max Lane recall to Manchester City. That was a massive surprise for us as supporters, and I'm sure Watford as well. But with Max being a lone player, you always have to take that possibility into account. The Bristol City defeat was extremely frustrating as well. The whole postponement was, a big issue for us too. We'd prepared for that game. We were ready to play. They cancelled that 15 minutes prior to kickoff. Naturally, whether you play football or you're in a normal workplace, if something gets cancelled at such short notice, it's going to disrupt your day and disrupt your overall momentum. So there's a few things we could probably point to. I think there has been a lack of backing in this transfer window as well. Eduardo Bove has signed for the club, and that's very positive, very exciting. And don't get me wrong, I'm really pleased about that. But I think Javi wants players in for the here and now. He wants a Max Lane replacement in. He would want a Mark Boller backup in to give him some time out of the team and to rest and recover as well. So I think there's probably kind of 5, 6 or 7 things that could be contributing to this. And I think Javi's overall attitude and morale has shifted as well in the past couple of weeks. I listened to his post-match interview today. I listened to his post-match interview during the week after Portsmouth as well, and he seems very dejected, very down, and quite demoralised and depressed at the moment. And to see a happy Spaniard like that is very disappointing. And, looking at the performance as a whole today, the first 15, 20 minutes I found really positive. Whilst I disagreed with Vata starting, as he's just come back from a very serious injury, I did feel he had an influence on the game, as did Othman Mama and Mamadou Doumbia. I thought they had, good performances in the opening stages. Luka Kiramgard up front as well had a couple of chances on goal. One just after a couple of minutes too. So yeah, I'm not going to discredit the players for their performances in the opening 15, 20 minutes or so. But once Rocco was taken off, again, that felt like a real sucker punch to us. It disrupted our game plan. It felt like Rocco was the centre of all of our attacking moves, and we just weren't quite the same team since that moment. And yeah, the second half was more of the same really. Blackburn Rovers, even with the boycott, grew into the game, of course, naturally as the home side, and I thought they thoroughly deserved the draw actually, and they had the chances even to win it. Egil Selvik saving Watford with a wonderful stop late on too. So yeah, just a disappointing day all round. Why Rocco was started so quickly after coming back from a serious injury, I've got no idea. Of course, the Watford medical staff and physios can advise Javi, but ultimately the final call on team selection would be between both Rocco as a player, from his perspective, of course, and Javi Gracia as the manager. And clearly they both thought that Rocco was ready to play, which is... yeah, in hindsight, it's probably the wrong call. We'll have to wait and see how long he'll be out for. Kwadwo Bar coming on in the 85th minute as well. I mean, that is astounding. That is absolutely astounding. And I would go actually as far to say it's insulting to Kwadwo, given the quality of player that he is. He saw no minutes in the week against Portsmouth. He didn't even come off the bench. And he got 5 minutes today to impress. It is ridiculous that we're in this situation again. Hashtag free Kwadwo Bar. What is going on there? That's 2 managers now in Paolo Pezzolano and Javi Gracia who haven't fancied him from the outset. Is it an internal issue? Is Kwadwo not committing to himself at 100% in training? Is it attitude? Is it purely from a playing perspective and that Javi doesn't fancy him? I've got no idea whatsoever, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if in this final week we see a big transfer bombshell and, Kwadwo Bar requesting to leave the club. Why would a player of his talent and youth want to waste the rest of this season sitting on the bench and getting 5 or 10 minute cameo appearances? I know I wouldn't, and if I'm Kwadwo, that's certainly a conversation I would be having with my agent, if I was in his shoes. So that was frustrating as well. Iran Kunda got a bit more time. I have to give Javi credit for that. He was brought on around the 60th minute, and whilst he made an impact, I felt he was brought on in the wrong position. He seemed quite isolated over on that right-hand side. I would have loved to have seen Iran Kunda almost up front, running in behind, trying to stretch that Blackburn back line a bit more, because in that second half they were committing a lot of players forward and there was space to run back in behind. So I just felt he got a lot wrong today, which is really frustrating. I'm still very much behind this group. I want Javi to be a success here, don't get me wrong, but as far as I'm concerned, it's all going in the wrong direction at the moment. And we've got some tricky games to come. Swansea at Vicarage Road next weekend. Our record against them isn't that great in the past couple of seasons. And then on the Tuesday after that, we've got that rearranged match against Hull City, which could be very spicy indeed. So I'll leave it there. I've not even discussed the goals, but I felt there was more worthwhile subjects to discuss. And let's hope we can get back on track sooner rather than later. A big week to come in the transfer window as well. We'll keep you up to date with everything here on the Watford Way via videos on YouTube and updates across all our social platforms as well. You can find us on X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.